My name is Sara Bressa, and I'm originally from Chile.
And where do you live now, Sarah?
I live in Boston Park.
When did you migrate to Australia?
1975. 12th of August 1975, I arrived.
And how old were you at the time?
I was about to turn 16.
Can you tell us a little bit about the reasons for leaving your home? What was the situation like in your home country?
Well, coming to Australia was not my own. It was not my own decision. It was my father who had to leave the country. Therefore, he left, and then a couple of months later, we followed.
And who migrated with you?
To Australia.
Yes.
My mother, my father, 2 brothers and 1 sister.
So the whole family
Yes.
came with you. Did you know you were going to Australia, or did you have some time to prepare?
No, we didn't. We lived in Argentina for a few months, and we were there protected, and the organization that was protecting us, they were applying for us to different countries. So they applied to Mexico, applied to Canada, and to Australia. And Australia accepted us first, and the second country to accept us was Canada. So my father said, Australia accepted us first, Australia it is.
Did you know anything about Australia?
Not a great deal, only that Australia suffered with very strong winds, very hot, and there were kangaroos.
Can you, thinking back about before you migrated, what was your life like? Did you go to school?
Yes, I had a very unideal childhood. I was brought up on a farm, and a big house. We lived with our grandparents and mom and dad. So it's a big family unit. And we had animals. We had chickens, ducks, goats, rabbits. It was an ideal life. So I enjoyed it very much.
Did you have to leave your grandparents behind?
Yes, we did. Yes. And I did go to school. In Chile, I went through the Catholic system and then through a selective school.
Can you briefly tell us what your journey looked like? Did you come here on a plane?
We did. We traveled to Buenos Aires. From Buenos Aires, we caught a flight, aerolíneas flight to Peru. And from Peru, we caught an Air France, a flight to Tahiti. And from Tahiti, we got Guantes. And they were very nice. They gave us little kangaroo pins, toys, sweets, lollies. They were very nice. And also, we had this plane. When we arrived in Sydney, they used to grab these cans. I don't know what it was. They used to spray the plane. So we went through that as well.
And then you arrived in Sydney?
And we arrived in Sydney. And there was a bus waiting for us. And the bus took us to Villawood, which now is a detention centre. But back in those days, it was a migrant hostel. And we were very happy to be there. Beautiful green grass, no problems. We had food prepared for us. We had to go to a dining room where we had breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We had our sandwiches prepared to go to school and work. So it's a great life. And mom and dad, they found them jobs after a week that we had been here. So they went off to work. And we went to high school.
Did you speak any English before you came to Australia?
No, we didn't. Only the basics. In Chile, you study English, and I did French and English. it's not the same. You can study all your life, but you forget if you don't practice it. Yeah. My dad is very good though. He could speak English. He can still speak French at his age, and he speaks a bit of Italian. He understands a bit of German. He's very good. He's 87 years old.
Do you remember what the biggest differences were when you arrived in Australia compared to Chile?
We found, this is just my impression, and it's not really, it's not, I suppose it's my impression, but it's not real, because we arrived to a hostel. So a hostel was a place there were migrants from all over the world. We had Germans, Polish, people from all over the world. So it was not a real world, really. People who used to work in the kitchen, they were people who had been there since, just after the Second World War. So it was a very, I suppose, cushioning environment. There was a bank, a Commonwealth Employment Office. We had a little shop where you could go and buy. There were a couple of public phones that you could ring overseas. There was one of those tin sheds that you used to go and play ping pong, table tennis. So it was not only when we got out of there and we went for a walk to Chester Hill, we then saw the real Australia. And look, it was different. We couldn't understand anything, except my dad, who used to be the translator. But we loved it. I think the food was the biggest shock. but it was good.
Let's talk about the objects that you've brought. Do you want to introduce us to your yellow friend?
He doesn't have a name. I have always just called him Osito, which means little bear. My father, I know that he bought it and gave it to me when I was very young. I was probably about 5 years old. And he came in and he said, "Look what I've got for you." And since then, I just loved him. So I always kept him close by. Of course, now I've got him in a bag in my closet, in my wardrobe. But he's been a faithful companion, and it means so much because even though he might not look very sophisticated, but back in those days, buying a teddy bear, it was very expensive. And for my dad, it was expensive, yeah. So he made a sacrifice of buying it for me.
What about the booklet?
This was given to me at school. And what it was, every time that you had to communicate with the school for any reason, you had to, mom or dad had to write a note. And because to me, it was not the content, but to me, it was what it meant. It meant that this was a period where I was happy. I was always a good student. And I wanted to continue that. I wanted to continue studying. I wanted to do well. So that's why I brought this.
And then last, a photograph?
And this is a photograph of the group of people that we lived in Argentina. Most of them were young people who had been tortured by the Pinochet regime. And they were there also waiting for a country to accept them, to start their lives. So you can see I'm there, mom and dad, my sister is there. And most of these people left Argentina. Some are in New Zealand. Some of them are in Canada. And of course, we're in Australia. So we all got homes, new places to go to.
And the last question, why do you think it's important to share your story and these objects with a wider audience?
Well, I I think it's a human story. I think that after so much change and suffering, because there were a lot of very ugly moments in Argentina and in Chile, and you go through so much. But I suppose if you have faith, and when I say faith, it could be anything. It could be, your religion, in what you believe, gives you that strength, that inner strength that you'll survive and that you will have a better life. So don't give up. So and I haven't done that bad. I think I've done well. I've got two beautiful boys. They're not boys anymore, they're men. And I've got a husband, and I've got an extended families. My brothers got married, my sister got married, they all had kids. So I've got nephews, I've got nieces. So, and I've got friends, so many friends. And Australia has been very good to us. So I'm very thankful.